missed part of this. So anyhow, that may be what's going on. So we have this this lion, which is probably at least Great Britain, the United Kingdom, all of that, and the United States is now torn off. And then we have the bear, who is possibly Russia, and these three ribs are the individuals that they are under control. So it's highly likely that we see. The reason I remembered this thing, and I didn't write that passage up there. When I identified Russia, there is a point, Great Britain, that in Ezekiel, we think that when we hear the word Tarshish, that in fact that is probably the Great Britain at least the United Kingdom. There's a quote from Ezekiel 38 says, "All the traders of Tarshish, along with their young warriors," but the original word for warriors are lions, young lions, and that may be what's going on as we go on. So we just don't know 100%, but maybe so. The third beast is the one that's really hard to describe. And so looking at our world today, what are the characteristics of a leopard that might help us identify what nation that might be? Well, we know that leopards are what you would call a cunning, swift, and stealthy hunter, that they lay in ambush, and they're quite powerful. And this Mr. Sheldon, and I think maybe he's still got it, thinks it's China. And and you think about how that nation get those that in fact influence the world and have these powers. They're not like we saw decades ago, or even like the Huns. They went who was it? Genghis Khan, where they conquered the world. But there's elements of that. They're ones who'd like to work from the inside. And then you think, well, wait a minute. Isn't the symbol for China generally a dragon? Well, the problem with that is the author of this vision is God, and God knows that in Revelation 12, that the dragon is the Antichrist. So perhaps that's why he did not use that as an identification. I don't know whether the writers in the Middle East would know what a dragon was. It may be, because we don't know. So maybe that's what's going on. And he talks about these four wings and these four heads. When you think about that, maybe what we're seeing is this outward spread of their influence, their power, and eventually their conquering. It's just really hard to say. And before we get excited, in the book of Hosea, this is really interesting. God and his warnings to Israel, and I think he's going to describe how he's going to affect Israel.